you're a strong man or strong woman and answer yes to any of these 3 questions, then make sure you watch this video in full, because today I'm going to blow your mind and I'm going to change your training life. So are you tired of paying out of your arse £100 to £200 a month for a training program from a coach that isn't getting you the results that you see people making online? Are you tired of running the same old cookie cutter programs that you've got for free online? Do you wish there was a way to train with the most advanced training system the sport or strongman has ever seen for less than 80p a day? Well, then you're in luck. I've got one goal in this sport, and it's to transform the landscape of strongman coaching forever. There are too many cowboy coaches out there in this sport that do a few novice comps. You know, you've seen them all. DM me for program, link in bio, coach, none of that stuff. They don't even have the common sense to get a level 2 PT qualification so they can get insured. And I'm sick of these idiots that charge so much money for horrible programming and a horrible service, which is why I've created the MST System Strongman Programming app. I want to put all these cowboy coaches out of business. I know you're just trying to earn a little bit of money on the side, but simply put, if you can't provide a better coaching service than my low budget training app, then you don't deserve to be charging anyone £200 a month for coaching, do you? I mean, to be honest, let's face facts. It's criminal, really. You can't just do a couple of novice comps, have no qualifications, no knowledge, and charge £200 a month. It drives me nuts. So who's my app actually for? The MST Systems app is absolutely perfect for anyone in the sport of strongman at any level. It doesn't matter if you're brand new to the sport or you're a seasoned pro. To be honest, 90% of people in this sport could run my app and get on absolutely perfectly. If you're either of these, it's probably wise for you just to make the investment while you can. Trust me. You'll learn from an extremely high level strength coach, and you're going to get to run world-class strength training protocols that are tried and tested with the best strength athletes on the planet. The problem with most free online programs is that at max they're just 12 weeks long. There's no follow-up, there's no layering to your phases, there's nothing to work on next, there's no setup phases, it's just one 12-week program. And you can't progress and build upon anything you've worked on in the previous block. And this is where my app is completely different and fixes this issue. The world's first Strongman programming app. It lets you build custom personalized 8-week training phases, and you can accumulate skill and volume, or you can do intensification blocks to peak. You can string these together and keep progressing for years to come. This is the issue with these free programs online. You have to run the same phase back to back. You'll never have to do that again with my training app. This is not how advanced strength training works. I've written out specific details of how all the training protocols work, which ones pair nicely, which ones follow on from the other, etc., so that you can build and layer a full year's worth of training if you wish. If you don't want to build your own training program though, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you should do, but if you don't, then we have plenty of pre-written training plans on there. World-class strength training protocols that have been tried and tested with some of the best athletes on the planet. I've been lucky enough to work with athletes such as Graham Hicks, got him 1,000 pounds deadlift, Mark Felix has got a little bit older and he was on the decline. I managed to reverse that, reverse it, and increase his strength again and get him competing at high level, even at the ripe old age of 55 or whatever he is. We've also worked with Matthew Ragg, New Zealand's strongest man, five times New Zealand's strongest man, Matthew Ragg. And Matthew Ragg, he's got over 200 kilo strict log press, 440 kilo deadlift we've taken him to. We're Lucy Underdown, managed to take her to the heaviest deadlift ever done by a female ever, 300 kilos in competition at UK Strongest Man. Mr. Luke Richardson managed to take Mr. Luke Richardson from his transition from powerlifting into strongman, managed to get him to win Europe's Strongest Man. Mr. Rongo Keane came to me, he was struggling to get his log press up. The introduction of shoulder stability work to Rongo's programming managed to take him all the way up to 200 kilo log press as well. We've worked with athletes in all weight classes, lightweight, middleweight, heavyweight, female, male, whatever. We don't discriminate. We've got everybody strong, and trust me, with our strength training principles, you'll be able to take your strength training to the next level. MST Systems has programmed, well, nearly to, I would say over 20. I'm like, there's about 18 and 19 400 kilo deadlifters. We're nearly at 20 400 kilo deadlifters we've programmed. I reckon that we are probably the highest success rate of people peaking for 400 kilos in the world. Ain't many people that have programmed nearly 400 kilo deadlifts. Plus, I've got over nearly 5 200 kilo log pressers, and I've programmed at least 30, definitely over 30, probably 50 400-pound plus log presses. The biggest log press success stories, boom, come from MST Systems. You run our log press programs, you get a big log press, trust me. So what I'm going to show you now is I'm going to show you how to build a perfect 8-week accumulation phase I'll explain to you what accumulation is, don't you worry. An 8-week off-season accumulation phase, we're going to fix somebody with a weak log press. They've got a poor log press, they feel like the press is a weakness, they've plateaued the press for a long time, and they need an MST systems touch to blow the log press up. We're going to help you with your log press, and we're going to assume that you've got a little bit of a lockout weakness on your deadlift. When it gets over the knee, you feel like you can't lock it out, and you've also got we're going to improve your squat at the same time. We're going to continue working on that log, and maybe we're going to work on your grip strength as well, and we're going to help you build your grip strength on farmers. There's a little scenario for you there. I'm going to show you how easy it is to. So we're gonna fix your dumbbell as well. We're gonna put a little bit of a skill block in the program so that you're able to work on your mechanics on your dumbbell and your dip and drive as well. So we're not only going to help build your log and your pressing, but we're going to help build your skill on your dumbbell as well. And then we're going to blend all this together and show you how you can build an 8-week off-season accumulation phase. So in the MST Systems app, we hit Build Custom Program, and we're going to go off-season. The difference between the off-season and the competition one is the competition one assumes obviously that you've got a competition on the end of week 8, so it includes a different taper than what the off-season phases do. If you're just training in the gym, not for a competition, always hit off-season. Once you hit off-season, we've got 4 days to fill out. We're going to start with our specific press day session number 1. Now we get hit with the options of accumulation or intensification. Accumulation just basically means that we're going to be driving volume or frequency as our main driver and not intensity. Intensity being the weight on the bar. Think of accumulation as laying down the foundations of your training block and intensification being extracting them. So basically you could think of intensification as build to 1 rep max, all right? So we're going to be hitting accumulation here, and then we're presented with some options to fill out. You do not have to fill out all of these options. You can hit the red X at the side to skip a movement, but we're going to go through and build the perfect program. So I'm going to show you what we do here. So we're going to hit general preparation, and we're going to hit the MST Big 5, and we're going to do our mandatory prep. The MST Big 5 is the 5 fundamental preparation exercises I recommend you do if you participate in the sport of strongman. There are common dysfunctions and issues that crop up when you're training for strongman because everybody does similar movement patterns. So the MST Big 5 is designed to be there as a prevention, not a cure, to you getting any dysfunctions in your hips, shoulders, back, etc. So then we're going to go into a movement prep that's specific to the actual pressing session. So this one, let's assume that this person has a little bit of a restriction in the overhead position. They feel like the lockout's restricted by the tightness in the lats, tricep, and maybe the chest, etc. So they do struggle with the lockout position. So we can pick, there's 10 movement preps here that all do different things. But we're going to hit the 90-90 pullover, side lying pullover, and passive hang movement prep. This is a movement prep that in the description it will say exactly what you do. And there's a video there as well to show you how to do each movement. Basically, you're going to be doing dumbbell pullovers, side lying pullovers, and some extra passive hangs. The reason for that is because we're going to be opening up concentrically and eccentrically the overhead position and stretching the lat out. The lat and the tricep are one of the main issues that people get in the overhead position. So this protocol here is designed to fix that. There are other issues as well that can crop up that other movement preps will deal with, but for this video, we'll go with this one. Then we go into our specific press. We're going to work on our log press. Now, during this block of training, we're going to be building good volume and trying to work on mechanics. So we're going to want to go with something like the MST Systems Master Your Log phase. This phase is absolutely brilliant because it rotates through different skills. There's a lot of intricate cues in there every single week so that you're layering on every single week and learning. The phase is designed so that at the end of the 8 weeks, you will have mastered all the positions of the log. So the clean, the rack position, the dip, the press, the push press position, keeping your head back, these intricate cues that you need to master. We also have, by the way, available on our YouTube, free log press tutorial, four-part video series for the clean, dip and drive, push press, and the strict log as well. A little bonus strict logging in there. So make sure you check that out if you don't understand your log positions, because it will complement a phase like this really well. After we've done this, I'm actually going to skip the strongman press section on this day because I'm going to be building the master your log phase. There's quite a bit of volume in there, so I'm going to have enough volume on the master your log phase. I won't need to put a secondary press in. or a strongman press, should I say. We are going to use secondary press though, and we're going to be going on for a 45-degree incline bench press, and we're going to use the eccentric and isometric phase. The reason for this is an accumulation phase that we're building. So we're starting off by laying down foundations that we can build on in the next phase. The eccentric isometric phase lays down adaptations that you don't usually get exposed to in your normal training because people do not exaggerate eccentrics or they do not use yielding isometrics as part of their training programming. So by adding the eccentric isometric phase, we're going to be setting ourselves up with eccentric and isometric adaptations that are going to be able to, we're going to be able to reap the rewards of that in the later phase. What are eccentric and isometric adaptations? Well, eccentric adaptations happen when we control the eccentric, the downward portion of a press. This should be higher in strength potential than the concentric, but sometimes because people in the sport of strongman often get a bit bouncy with the eccentric, they can end up being an athlete who has no brakes. I hate it when people have no brakes. It means they can't control the eccentric properly. So the eccentric isometric phase will allow you to control and exaggerate that eccentric so you can get your brakes back, and it's going to give you much better transition in the stretch reflex from the eccentric to the concentric so that you're able to produce more force. The yielding isometric is when you pause at a specific joint angle, and this has been proven to not just increase strength at that joint angle, but below and above it, about 20 degrees above and below it. So really short space above and below. But let's say you're pausing at 90-90 position on your incline, you're going to not only get strength in that weak joint angle, but slightly below it, slightly above it. It's going to help you press through sticking points. It's going to give you great adaptations. So we're going to go with the eccentric isometric phase on the incline bench. Then we're going to drop into shoulder stability work. Now, shoulder stability is extremely, extremely important because think of it as your brain is sending signals to your triceps and your shoulders so that you're able to press and utilize the strength that you've built through the patterns that you've been drilling on your log press. If you have issues in imbalances in muscle groups, like let's say you got weak fucking lettuce trap 3. You got weak trap 3. It's the bottom of your trap if you don't know it. It's a really important shoulder stabilizing muscle. Let's say you got a weak trap 3, you've got a weak rear delt, and you've got terrible external rotation mobility. These issues here are almost like potholes or roadblocks down the road that the signals are trying to go to for you to express your pressing strength. If there are issues there, your brain will not feel safe and it will not feel stable. It will then restrict the amount of neurological activity you are able to send to your muscle groups. So you'll be limiting your expression of strength because your shoulders are fucked. So shoulder stability work is extremely important. What would we go with though? Well, if we scroll down here and we go to a Powell raise, this is one of my favorites to always use, a pronated Powell raise. Where's the Powell raise at? As you can see, we've got a lot of exercises in here that all do different things. If you read the descriptions, it does tell you. We're going to go with the 12x6 linear progression model on the Powell raise. I'm then going to add a trap 3 raise because the trap 3, again, is extremely detrained. On the trap 3, I like to go with strong and nasty sets. They're my favorite. Strong and nasty sets use mid-range isometrics so that you're able to spend a little bit more time in the position that gives you the best contraction. And on a trap 3 raise, you don't need much load. It's a very intricate movement to think about it. So the strong and nasties allow you to spend more time in the position where you feel the contraction the most, therefore getting a bit of a better result with your shoulder stability work. After that, we're going to layer it on with an IYT raise, and I'm going to go with we're going to go with neural clusters, I reckon, because the IYT raise works well in low rep ranges, so we'll go with that. We could add some conditioning here as well. So if we're building the perfect strongman training program, we're going to add some ski erg work. I'm just going to add strongman conditioning version 1. If you read this, I have benchmarks for a 2K time that I like to use with people because we can't just be fat, sweaty messes. We're athletes. We're not just power lifters who do events on the weekend. We're athletes. So the conditioning protocols on there are going to allow you to get a level of conditioning that's going to allow you to have an increase in work capacity so you're able to handle the programming within the app. The app's programming is difficult. This is not an easy path. This is the best path. And you need to be conditioned so you have a high work capacity so you can keep up with it. If you can't recover from these training protocols, it could be because you're a fat, sweaty mess and you need to do conditioning. So conditioning is there on day 1 to nip it in the bud, start the week right, get that heart rate elevated and get yourself as fit as you need. Now, the final thing we're going to add is a supine breathing parasympathetic switch. This is at the end of every single session. And it's important because this is the thing, right? People will pay money to go physio, they will do hot and cold baths, they will be getting in an ice bath, shivering the tits off, feeling like crap to drive recovery up. Why won't you do a parasympathetic switch at the end of your session? Why not? It's the best bang for buck. When you train your sympathetic, so your nervous system has two states, parasympathetic and sympathetic. When you're in a sympathetic state, things happen like vasoconstriction, adrenals go up, and you're able to basically be in that fight or flight mode. You're able to lift more weight, and you're able to utilize patterns that you've ingrained in your nervous system better as well. But when you leave the gym, we only want to be sympathetic for as short a time as possible. When you leave the gym, you want to be parasympathetic, e.g. the rest and digest nervous system. So by laying down, putting yourself in a different environment, closing your eyes and putting in some slow music and changing the way your body processes its external environment is going to allow you to go parasympathetic before you leave the gym. That way you're not in the car on the way home going, oh, fuck, I need to get home, boom, and flying through the front door, raiding the fridge. You're cool and you're calm and you're chilled and you can leave the gym. Goodbye, everyone. And you leave the gym. You're a gentleman again. And you can, I don't know what about, but you can get home and chill the fuck out and recover up. So the parasympathetic switch is very important. It's at the end of every session. Trust me, you do that, by the way. Seriously, it will help a lot. You will sleep better. You will be able to, you'll get hungry again, because when you're sympathetic, your appetite tends to go down. So when you go parasympathetic, you'll start to get hungry, you'll start to be able to be on a bit of a come down, you'll get better sleep, deeper sleep, and recover better. And everybody knows that sleep's the number one driver of recovery. So if you can get yourself parasympathetic before you go to bed, you're gonna be in a much better state to get proper sleep. Anyhow, we've now built our specific pressing day. So we're gonna go into deadlifts. And we said that this person was suffering with the floor speed, didn't we? So we're gonna, no, it was lockout strength. They had a poor lockout, a little gammy lockout over the knee. We're gonna do our mandatory prep again, which is the same MST Big 5 mandatory prep that we do. I'm also going to assign our parasympathetic switch, because we know we do this at the end of every session because we're gentlemen. And now, movement prep for the deadlift. Maybe this person is also terrible at back throw. We can add a back throw warm up in there. There's a video showing you what to do. There's a back throw freestyle or structured programming. I like the freestyled one, to be honest with you, because the freestyle programming, it gives you 3 options to pick of things you're going to work on. And in the video, it shows exactly what to do. And you can pick which one you want to work on every single session. So it gives you a little bit of freedom to be like, well, today I feel like throwing a heavy bag for a couple of reps. Oh, today I feel like practicing my transitions. Oh, no, today I'm going to do a full run through. There's 4 options actually. There's a light bag for volume as well. Maybe you do that sometimes. So the freestyle one's really good. So we're going to do some freestyle back throw. The reason why that's a movement prep before deadlift, by the way, is basically a kettlebell swing, isn't it? So we're getting a little bit of hip extension. We're activating the glutes, the hamstrings, heart rate's getting elevated. It's a really good little easy recovery, concentric only, really good easy recovery movement to do before the deadlift. It preps you real well. Plus it's specific to the sport strongman. After we've done that, this person's got a poor lockout. People with a poor lockout tend to have weak hamstrings and glutes. So what we're going to go with here is we're going to go with a Nordic curl as our hamstring and foot control section. I'm going to work eccentrics through the Nordic curl. If you are a fairly large person and you can't even do an eccentric Nordic, maybe we assign prone hamstring curl instead. Beauty of the app, we can pick and choose what's perfect for us. Anyhow, we're going to go into our deadlift session, and I like to use the snatch grip deadlift for people that are weak at lockout, because what it does is it exaggerates the range of motion, which means that you get more movement into the lockout position, but also it puts extra stress on your upper back. And a lot of people that struggle at lockout tend to break a bit too much in the thoracic. So because we did eccentric isometrics on the incline bench press, how about we apply eccentric isometrics to the deadlift and use a snatch grip and take ourselves through an eccentric isometric deadlift phase. While we're doing this, we're kind of building an eccentric isometric triphasic style build, aren't we? So how about we flow with that for the rest of the protocols? We may as well. Anyhow, deadlift, main session assistance. So on the main session assistance section, a good way to improve lockout is with a dead stop safety bar good morning, because it really strengthens the posterior chain in a weakened position, an exaggerated position. Once we go into the dead stop good morning, we have a couple of options here to do. There is a triphasic 2.0 accumulation, which is also eccentric and isometric focused. It's 4 weeks of each. That complements the previous phase that we just put in on the deadlift and the incline bench perfectly. The thing with training phases is when we give the body similar adaptations to recover from and to be exposed to, it does seem to adapt better. This is purely anecdotal, but I've been doing this a long time. I'm kind of good at my job, so it might be right. So basically what I'm saying is we've got eccentric isometric inclines, eccentric isometric deadlifts, eccentric isometric safety bar dead stop good mornings. This phase we're building is pretty cool. Secondary assistance. This is a very optional section, because if you've put enough volume in on your deadlift and enough volume in on your SSB good morning, you probably don't need to do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to prioritize recovery. We're going to skip that. If on the main session assistance I chose something like a row, then maybe I've got enough recovery allowance to apply a secondary assistance exercise, which is why it's there. You don't always skip this, but in this scenario, we're going to skip this. After that, we're going to add some back assistance vertical. I'm going to go with CAS pull downs, and I'm going to go with some high rep CAS pull downs for 2 sets. I'm also going to go with a cable row as my back assistance, a wide grip cable row. I'm just going to assign the same 2-set linearly progressive high rep protocol. And then I like to keep biceps in there. The reason why I like to keep biceps in there is because when you are a strongman, if you don't have strong biceps in isolation, you're going to be missing out a little bit with safety on your events like tire flip, Atlas stones, etc. Obviously, we know that when we're doing these exercises, we want to put ourselves in positions that are safe on the biceps. However, now and again, things are going to happen where, let's say you're tire flipping and it slips a little bit because it's wet. It slips and you end up catching it with your bicep. These are the times when injuries can occur. However, the stronger your biceps are in isolation, the more of a fallback point we have. The stronger they are in isolation, the safer things are going to be, so that if something does go wrong, if a position does slip up, if we've got monster strong biceps in isolation, then we're going to be able to have a little bit of wiggle room to make a mistake and not get punished for it with like a bicep tear. So training your biceps in isolation is extremely important, and that's why it is a section in the app. I used to actually put these under shoulder stability, but recently I've decided, over the last year or so, I've decided that biceps need to be trained in isolation pretty much as mandatory. So in the deadlift assistance section, they are there. Now we're going to go into session 3 here. We're going to hit accumulation again. I'm going to give you a general prep of the MST Big 5, just like the other 2 days. And then we've got movement prep for the squat and flow press day. I'm just going to go here with a simple movement prep, where we hit, what should we do? We're going to do some stretching for our hips, then we're going to do face pulls, and then we're going to do our 90-90 hangs. So we'll do that because that's kind of a prep that helps prep the squat and it helps prep the press. So I'm going to be doing those. So we're going to be squatting. So I reckon we go with a front squat here, and we're going to go eccentric isometrics as well. The reason for this is the front squat's really going to help strengthen that rack position. If we use straps and put ourselves in this position here in rack, we're going to be mimicking the log press rack position, and we're going to be able to strengthen our deep knee flexion as well, as that has specific carryover to our sport of strongman. After we do the eccentric isometric front squats, we're going to go into flow dumbbell press, and we're going to assign the dumbbell flow state protocol. We're going to assign this. So the dumbbell flow state protocol is going to take you through loads of different complexes. It's going to have different training undulated every single week. You're going to be using things like EMOMs every 90 seconds work, do this amount of reps under 30 seconds, like speed work. It's going to rotate a lot of different protocols, but it's going to give you a lot of exposure at lighter loads to your dumbbell, so that you're able to practice your rack position, your dip and drive, your overhead position, etc. It's a real skill-focused protocol we're going to be running there on the dumbbell. It's going to really help take that monster dumbbell press to the next level. Now on this session here, we could also go with a secondary press assistance, but we can decide. This session 3 is my favorite session in the app. The reason being is there's a lot to choose from. There are 17 options, okay? 17 options. Now you don't select all 17 ever. You would never do that. But we can decide what we want to build on this session. So we've squatted and we've hit our flow state press. Do we want extra pressing? We did say this person had a weak press, didn't we? So let's put an extra press in here. And what we'll do is we'll put on here, we did incline on that day, on day 1. So we're going to go with a close grip axial floor press, and we're going to hit some linear pyramids 12.85 on there. So this is our secondary press assistance, which is going to complement the incline and log that we did on day 1. We're going to dumbbell and then close grip axial floor press on the 3rd session or press session 2. Now, we've squatted front squats. We've done our dumbbell. We've done our axial floor press. We can do a couple of things here. We can either add some more shoulder stability or we can add some hip and knee stability. There's also the option to do our back assistance vertical or back assistance horizontal. That was because you don't have to do that on the day before. If you wanted to do it here instead, you can choose it. We chose to do them on day 2, so we'll skip them. We also did our bicep isolation, so we can skip them. We've got some conditioning though. Rower ski, maybe we add Strongman conditioning version 2 here. Tricep isolation. Maybe we want to isolate the triceps actually. Maybe we do an overhead rope extension and we do a cluster set protocol on here just to get a little bit of extra triceps in. I reckon we skip the shoulder stability though. And we skip the main squat assistance. Because if we wanted to here, guys, we could just not press at all and we could do squats, squat assistance, hip and knee stab. But I like to keep hip and knee stab in kind of as mandatory because it keeps everything healthy. I reckon we go with here. Let's go with some. Let's say somebody's got some pain in the knees and they want a knee. They want a protocol that helps with the knee. So we'll go with bodyweight knee extensions, and then we'll hit calf and tib raises. If any of you follow knees over toes, guys, you'll know that calf and tib raise is really important for knee health and knee stability, and so is the bodyweight knee extension. Right, now we're on to the move section. So we're going to hit our MST Big 5 again, mandatory prep. Our movement prep on this day, what should we go with? We need to get a bit of core in there because movement prep is a section that covers a bit of core. So we're going to go with this one. We're going to do King Deads, King RDLs, GHD sit-ups, and GHD back extensions. A bit of a posterior chain focused movement prep that gets a little bit of core in there as well. We're going to do some extra deadlifts on this session as well. We're going to do concentric pause deadlifts, background deadlift volume. This is going to allow us to do a little bit of an extra deadlift session so we get more volume in to help our deadlift, but it is going to mean that we don't need to use much weight because we don't want to take too much recovery. The background deadlift volume section is amazing for that. So yeah, use that a lot. You can use it on 12-inch, 15-inch, 18-inch deficit, snatch grip, whatever. Background deadlift volume is a really good phase in the app because it allows you to complement your main day with a little bit of extra juicy volume. Let's just go with some more deadlift assistance as well on this day. We'll go with the reverse hyper and we'll do the 12 to 6 linear progression phase. We're going to skip the main squat assistance. We're going to get into event 1. This person needed to improve their grip, didn't they? So we're going to go into the Farmers Walkers event 1, and we're going to go to the Vice Grip Long Distance Farmers protocol. The reason for this protocol being so amazing for grip is most of the time when you do Farmers Walk, people only run 20 meters or so, and they do 2 or 3 sets. And if you actually broke that down into how long was I squeezing the Farmers for on that session, sometimes it can only tell you up to like a minute or 2. Because if each run of 20 meters takes you 12 seconds, and you do let's say you do 5 sets, yeah? What's 5 times 12? It's 60, it's a minute. That's a minute worth of squeezing you've done. What do you think a minute worth of squeezing is going to do? If somebody said to you, oh, all you got to do is just squeeze for 60 seconds a week and you get a strong grip. No, that's not how it works. It's terrible. It's a terrible idea. The Vice Grip session, the Vice Grip protocol is going to mean that per set, you're going to be holding over a minute, which means that over the course of the full protocol, you're probably doing 5 minutes worth of squeezing at fairly heavy loads. That's 5 times more than what some other people will be doing. Some people only do 3 sets. It could be 10 times more than what people are doing. This is how you get good grip. This is how you get good grip, by having the time under tension and not just focusing on foot speed. So the Vice Grip training phase is designed to be ran as an accumulation block. So the phase you run before a peak, you build your grip strength foundation with that phase. Right, event number 2. Let's say this person's got weak grip. Maybe we want to do some arm over arm. So we want to touch some thick ropes, yeah? Want to get some girth on there. Let's go arm over arm. The best arm over arm training phase ever written. Do you know why? Because people don't write arm over arm phases because people are idiots. The best arm over arm annihilation. It says annihilation in the program. That's how good it is. And it says here, I have programmed hundreds of arm over arm events with great success. Hundreds. This is my go-to protocol. Make sure you're prepared for anything. The problem with arm over arm is there's so many variables. The surface, the sled type, is it a truck? Is it a car? It's hard to know what to expect unless you get to test the kit. Very true, this guy knows what he's on about. This protocol will make sure you are 100% prepared for anything come the final week. It's designed mainly for competition prep, but you can do it in your off season. Boom, we're selecting that. In my arm over arm phase protocol, we train loads of different things. So I focused on the start. Can you get a good start? The start's the most important thing in an arm over arm, especially with a truck or a car, because it's about breaking that initial inertia and getting the wheels moving, and then you're trying to just accumulate speed on top of that afterwards. So in this arm over arm protocol, it teaches you the 3 techniques and the 3 ways to do an arm over arm to get the best results. It teaches you when to apply each technique, and it teaches you to transition and flow between the 3. That way, on the day, even if you haven't tested it out, you will know after your first pull, you will be like, oh, this is one of these ones that I need to apply this technique for. And then sometimes as the truck or car gets moving, sometimes you go, oh, now that I've learned, I've started off with a heavy technique, it started moving, I can transition to the speed technique now. So I'll teach you how to blend your skills together as well. Really good protocol. If we did farmers and arm over arm though, it's a lot of grip work. So yeah. What else could we do? Maybe they want more grip. We could add a Hercules hold, but more than likely, want to finish with something different. So let's say we wanted to do stone to shoulder. Boom, stone to shoulder protocol. This was requested for OSG, the qualifier. I wrote it out custom for this app. It's an amazing protocol that will help you with your stone to shoulder work or your sandbag shoulder if you wish to do that. It'll be a nice thing to add into this phase because stones and sandbags is a little bit more grip and forearm work. It would layer on nicely, so your event today would be, you would come in and you would do your movement prep, you would do a little bit of light deadlift, some reverse hyper, then you're going to go into your farmer's walk, then you're going to do arm over arm, then you're going to do a little bit of stone to shoulder to finish. Parasympathetic switch, we do our supine breathing, select, build session. We've now built 4 sessions. Build program. Program name. Off-season 8-week program, we'll call it. Done. Next. Once we hit next, the program's going to build, and then we're going to be able to assign and activate the program straight away. It literally takes like 10 seconds for the program to be built. That's how long it takes. Right, now we go to our view custom program section. We've got our off-season 8-week program. We activate it. Boom. Instantly now we're on the program view section. We can hit week 1, session 1. There's a readiness questions. Sleep quality. I sleep like a savage, 5 out of 5. Last 48 hours nutrition. I don't miss a beat, 5 out of 5. Hydration, 5 out of 5. Muscle soreness. I don't get sore, 5. Stress mood, great, 5. I'm ready to train. We come in here and now we can see the specific press day. Everything we just built is in here. So we've got MST Big 5. Then we've got our 90-90 pullover, sideline pullover movement prep. Then we've got our log press protocol. I've just clicked the log press protocol. Look how much text is there. There's none of this 5x3, 2% a week. No, it tells you exactly what to do. All your techniques, all your positions, everything. It says here, look, the angle of the log should be perfect angle position for you in the clean, land your perfect rack. Try this as your main focus. As the reps go on, try to make, it tells you lots of things, very intricate. 45-degree incline bench press. There's a paragraph there, a paragraph of how to do it, not just do 2x2, mate. No, it tells you exactly what to do. Your Powell raises, there's a paragraph on bloody Powell raise. There's a paragraph on trap 3 raise. There's a paragraph on IYT raise. Rower ski erg. Boom, not much of a paragraph there, but it tells you what to do because it's just do a 2K for time. And then your supine breathing tells you exactly what to do. So the programming is very intricate. It's very, basically, it's not just the type of program where you just run it and you look at it for 2 seconds. You need to be invested in this sport. This isn't a program where you're just going to just run some cookie cutter program week after week and add 2%. It's very intricate. There's lots of undulating periodization progressions and things will change week on week. You need to read the program. You need to be very invested in your results. You need to be invested in yourself. So this programming system is just basically custom coaching in your pocket. It really is. You can build your own phases around all your weaknesses and all your issues, all your restrictions and dysfunctions, and you can make sure that you build the perfect training phase. Also with the app though, one of the most important parts, and I'm only just getting to it, with the app is a Facebook group. You can join our Facebook group and ask any question and post your videos for technical review from myself or my team. When I say myself or my team, I don't just mean my team. I am in there every day. Like Maxime here is asking about his phase. He's got a big detailed post about the things he's looking for, the kit he's got access to, his goals, etc. And I've replied here with a video telling him what phases I would assign. You know, Johnny Lawson and Jimmy asking questions here that we can go through. You're paying for access to me. I am MST. I'm Mr. MST Systems. I'm in there applying to your technical stuff. If you've got issues with your dysfunctions or your positions, you've got issues with building your programming system, you ask a question there. Hey Shane, I've got X, Y, and Z coming up. I need to fix this, this, and this. What should I do? I'll be able to reply to you in the group and let you know what training phases to assign, what assistance exercises to use, which exercises you can skip, which movements you can skip. And also make sure that you just assign all the protocols and exercises that you need to fix your individual specific needs. So if you want to get the MST Systems app, where do you get it from? If you go to mstsystems.co.uk/subscribe, then you're going to get to the app page and you're going to be able to have a little bit of a read if you want, see a few images of what the app looks like inside, and you're going to be able to just hit subscribe to the app. It costs from £24.99 if you use the annual subscription, or if you want to pay monthly and be cheeky, you can do £29.99 a month. What you're going to get in the app though, you're going to get access to hundreds, literally hundreds of training phases, hundreds of hours of content. There's so much information in there. If you break it down really, how much would you pay for a log press training phase? How much would you pay? If somebody was advertising an 8-week log press training block online, would you pay £40 for it? More than likely, if you trusted the source, £40 per phase. Is that what we're talking here? £40 per phase, and you get access to 20 plus log phases, yeah? What's 20 times 40? Quick maths, £800. Plus, we've got over 15 deadlift phases. We've got 10 plus squat phases. There is dumbbell phase. You've got access to hundreds of phases. If you added it up, the value that you're getting, you're talking literally hundreds and hundreds of pounds per month this app is worth. The amount of knowledge, the amount of training blocks you're able to get access to for £29 a month on subscription, £24.99 a month up front. It's amazing, amazing value for money. But the thing is, it's not just about the training phases you get. It's about the ability to go, this training phase paired with these assistants, paired with this training phase, and able to build a training week. We're not just talking about training blocks here. We're talking about layering down week after week, session after session, exercise after exercise, every single thing complement each other. When you add it all up together like that and you start to think about it, the value for money that you're getting is quite frankly absolutely ridiculous, which is why I've made this app, because I know it's ridiculous and I want you to have access to ridiculous programming. I want you to get and be able to I want you to be able to realize your full strength potential. And without doing things like without having access to quality programming and without having access to programming that layers on from each other, how are you ever going to realize your full strength potential? How are you ever going to do it? Do you believe that you have the knowledge and skills to be able to do that? I guarantee you, if you spend 1 year on the MST Systems app and you layer training phase after training phase after training phase, and you utilize the Facebook group so that you're able to get the advice and information directly from me so that I can tell you exactly what you need for each phase, I guarantee you the progress that you make in a year will far outweigh the investment that you made to download the app. So stop wasting any time. Go to mstsystems.co.uk/subscribe and use the 7-day free trial to just give it a go. Run a training week, and then I guarantee you'll be in for the long run.